What's up, y'all? I'm Stephen Daniels, the founder of PureFreedom, a company I created because I believe that no one should have to live an addicted life. Thank you for tuning in to the PureFreedom podcast, where I teach people how to break free from porn addiction, the addicted lifestyle, and show them how to start living their best life. So today we're going to talk about what's really feeding your addiction and how to finally break free from that. The whole point of this recovery journey, the whole point of pursuing sobriety is so that you can have a life that you deserve to live, right? A life free of addiction, a life free from all the negative effects of that addiction, the broken relationships, and whatever other things that you are suffering from. And in order to do that, you must get to the root of why you choose pornography. And that's really what the content on my blog is about. That's what we talk about on our YouTube channel. And that's the whole point of this podcast, right? If you can't get to the root of why your behavior is what it is, then you'll never really be able to get to a life of sobriety, which is what you deserve to live. All right. So this is really important. When I actually understood this concept of my sobriety journey, when I actually was able to take the things that I'm going to give you today, the tips and the tricks, and apply it to my own life, it made a huge difference in my recovery journey. I made a ton of progress, and it literally changed my whole outlook on recovery. Okay, that being said, before we jump into what we need to do to get to the root of our addictive behavior, let's start with thinking about what do we need to acknowledge? What do we need to consider in order for us to be able to get to the point where we can start to uproot things? And what I think is a good thing for us to consider, for you to consider, is that you may not know yourself as well as you think you know yourself. And this is what I mean by that. When I first started my recovery journey, I thought I knew myself very well, right? But after acknowledging who I am and recognizing that I have this addictive behavior, I follow these patterns, I can't seem to break out of these patterns, I started to question how well I actually knew myself. See, the fact is that for what I recognized was that the fact that I could not fully control my addictive habits, it told me that I don't know myself as well as I thought I did. Because if I did, I would have been able to prevent myself from going down the same pathways over and over and over again. So when I thought deeply about my behavior, when I thought deeply about, the things that I was doing, I had to acknowledge that maybe I don't know myself as well as I think I do, because there is something inside of me, right? There's something deep that is triggering me. There's something deep that's driving me towards something that's not healthy for me. And I can't pinpoint it for some reason. I can't put my finger on it. I can't identify it. And it's in me. It's no one else is, doing anything to me. It's already in me. So what is it in me that's there that's causing me to behave in this way? I could not answer that question. So I had to say to myself that, you know what? I don't really know myself as well as I think I do. So there's some self-discovery that has to happen in order for me to get to know myself better so that I can resolve the issues that I'm seeing in my life. And that's what you have to do. You have to consider that, you think you know yourself, but at the end of the day, if you did, you would be able to change your behavior right now, not go backwards. But the fact that you can't tells you that there's something about yourself that you don't know. And that's what we're going to seek to uncover and figure out as we go through this journey on the road to sobriety together. So the one thing that I know to be true about the recovery process is that it requires us to continually look inward if we want to make progress as we deal with the negative consequences of our behavior. And that's not an easy thing to do. Most people spend most of their life thinking about themselves. I know for me, I spent years, like a decade, going through daily life being self-absorbed and not self-aware. And it's a side effect of the porn addiction. Porn really focuses all the attention on yourself, right? It places you at the center of the story in whatever you're watching, right? It puts you in a mindset where most of your thoughts are geared towards how you feel, what you want, what you like, what you don't like, what serves you. And our moments of relapse are consumed with those feelings because we've chosen to use porn as a coping mechanism for our present pain. And this is the thing that has to change while we're on the road to sobriety. So the first step towards getting to the root of pornography addiction is to begin to replace our self-absorbed nature with a self-aware nature. And what you'll find is that you'll obtain a life where your emotional pain will decrease, low self esteem will decrease, your compulsive porn use will decrease, and you'll no longer be driven by your emotional pain when you want to act out. Instead, you'll be driven by a desire to understand what's causing your emotional distress. So, the reason this has to change is if we don't replace our tendency for self-absorption and with self-awareness, we can't deal with the root issues that cause us to choose pornography over alternative coping mechanisms with our triggers. So it's not a short process either, especially for people with a lot of unresolved trauma like what I had in my life. For me, it took 10 years, which I feel like is a long time, but that doesn't mean that it's going to take you that long. The good news is that through this podcast, through our YouTube channel, through our social media profiles, we're providing information that no one gave to me. So I'm trying to give you guys information that I didn't get so you don't have to go through what I went through. I'm giving you the formula that no one gave me. I had to figure it out on my own, but you don't have to. I'm here for you, and I want you to be successful in this, and I know you're going to be successful, and you're going to reach your life of sobriety that you deserve, because that's the only way that we need to be living our lives, is free. Like, no one likes to be in chains. No one likes to be bondage. Even a dog doesn't want to sit in a cage all day, right? None of us should be stuck and feel like we can't get out. I'm giving you a way out. I'm giving you the keys to sobriety. I'm giving you the keys to freedom. I'm taking you step by step through what I did. And I believe if it worked for me, it could work for you. So let's remember that the goal of being on the road to sobriety is to get to the root causes of porn addiction, not just to change behavior. Behavior change in itself does not lead to healing internally. I like to think about it like this. If pornography has taken figurative root in your life, and if your life represents your world, then what we could say is that your world has been corrupted by the tree of pornography. So imagine a world with an enormous tree planted in it. The roots of this tree stretch all throughout that world, but this tree is causing the soil of the world to rot. The branches are long and prickly, and it does not add any nutrients to the world. It doesn't increase the vitality of the world. It has corrupted the world that it has taken root into. No one wants a tree like that in their world, in their life. So let's think about the anatomy of a tree. We're all familiar with trees and understand that trees have branches, stems, and roots. If you cut off a branch from a tree, the tree continues to live. And the branch you cut off either grows back or other branches grow from the stem. So if you want to get rid of this tree that has taken root in your life, you're not going to be able to get rid of it by just cutting off branches, because the branches are going to grow back. The tree is not going to die if you cut off a branch. All right. The only way to completely eliminate a tree is to pull it up from its roots. But what do we do when we're addicted? Sometimes we think if we try harder, cut off a branch, that's going to help us get rid of our porn addiction. Sometimes we think if it's been 3 months since we watched pornography, cut off another branch, that's going to help us get rid of our porn addiction. The reality is that no matter how many branches you cut off from that tree will continue to live and continue to corrupt your life because it has taken root and the roots are still there. You cannot kill a tree by cutting off branches. But a lot of times, the things that we do in recovery only end up cutting off branches and never actually address the root causes and issues that are driving us towards pornography in the first place. So what you have to do is you have to get to the roots. You have to. So when you're thinking about a tree, if you're going to get rid of a tree, and the tree figuratively that we're talking about here is the tree of pornography that's taking root in your life. If you're going to get rid of that tree, you have to uproot it. But right now you're standing on the surface, right? And just like in the real world, if you're going to, remove a tree, you have to pull up all the roots of the tree. But if you're standing on the surface, you have no way of knowing how many roots there are. I mean, you might see a root popping out of the ground, but everyone knows that a tree has many roots. It could have 1,000, it could have 1, it could have 12. And the only way you can actually get to those roots is to dig. So let this sink in. All right. Right now, you are navigating the world, which is your life. The tree of pornography has taken root in your life. It is corrupting your world, and you're working to uproot it from your life, but you're standing on the surface. So all you can see is your unwanted behavior, broken relationships, possible failures in life, possible depressed state of mind. And all you can hear is negative self-talk and voices that tell you porn isn't a bad thing. You can't see the roots. See, the roots are what's causing those things. And traveling along the road to sobriety inherently leads you to digging up those roots from the tree of pornography that's taking root in your life. So recovery, what it's really all about is getting to the heart, right? Getting to the root cause of porn addiction in your life. And as you dig, you will find out the truth about what's really driving your behavior. What's making you so angry? What's making you feel depressed, lonely? What are these things that are causing these triggers that eventually lead to you going to seek out porn on the internet? What effect do your current relationship problems have on your behavior? See, true freedom comes in when you're able to answer questions like that. That's where happiness comes in. That's where deliverance comes in. That's where stress relief comes in. That's what we're after. So if you want to get to those things, you have to dig. You have to dig up all the roots, and you don't know how many roots there are. When I started my journey, I had no idea it would take me 10 years. But that's how many roots I had to dig up. So it took that long. And I don't regret it. I'm not upset about it. I'm just happy that I'm free and I'm able to live my life with my wife in peace. And I don't have to worry about, being depressed anymore. I don't have to worry about being triggered like I used to. I don't have to worry about the things that I used to have to worry about and be concerned with when I was in bondage to porn addiction. And what I recognized along the way as I started to dig was it's a lot easier to dig up roots when you have somebody digging with you. Imagine going out to a tree and starting to dig of a big oak tree only to realize there's 100,000 roots below the surface and you're digging by yourself. And see, that's why community is so important, because when someone like me partners with you, when you partner with someone in your circle that cares about you, they can help you dig. And if they help you dig, you can get to the roots a lot faster, and you can pull up all those roots a lot quicker than if you were to dig by yourself. So seek out people in your community, in your circles that care about you, that want to help you dig. Consider going to get professional help, speaking with a therapist if you have to. If you have a lot of trauma in your life, find an EMDR therapist. There are some great ones in San Diego that I'm going to have a link to on my website. So purefreedom.co. So what I'm saying to you is that you want to dig, but you shouldn't have to dig alone. You don't want to dig alone. You can, but I don't recommend it. It's better if you have a community that can help support you as you dig, because you're going to be able to uproot things a lot faster in your life. So what happens when you get to a root? I remember the first time I had a moment where I got to a root of why I watch pornography in my life. And I remember that I left work. I was very triggered. I was tempted to go home and follow my same pattern of behavior and look for pornography. And I called one of my accountability partners. We had a conversation. I told him what happened to me at work, and he said something that triggered a thought, a positive thought about some pain I had experienced in my past. And when he said the words that he spoke, it literally felt like a weight was lifted off of me. See, basically, the event that happened at work was reminiscent of a story that I told my accountability partner years ago, dealing with some trauma that I had experienced in my childhood. He reminded me of that. And when I was able to link the two events, when I recognized that my response in that moment was rooted in behavior that I learned from my past, I was able to extend forgiveness to the person that I was having a sense of bitterness towards. And that's what freed me in that moment from the need and the feeling to seek out porn as a coping mechanism. Because I was on my way home to act out because I was feeling hurt. And I was feeling hurt because I was holding on to bitterness and anger that had more to do with my past than my present. But I could not recognize or identify that in the moment because I was already in a heightened state of sensitivity. I was already emotionally hot. So when I called somebody that was level, that has dug with me in the past, he was able to look at my life and pinpoint exactly what root was connected to this current moment that I'm experiencing these feelings and these negative emotions. So that's the power of getting to a root. And when you have that feeling, when you get to that point, you're going to crave more moments like that. The more you experience that, the more you're going to crave it. And it's going to feel excellent. It's going to feel great. It's going to feel like a weight has been lifted off of you. And the thing is, everybody experiences something different as they go through this process. But each person knows what their life should look like. And the feeling of having gotten to the core of what's driving your behavior is unmistakable. It's unmistakable. You always hear stories about people who are in addiction that say they hit rock bottom. That's the same feeling. It's like something happened that completely flipped the switch in your brain. And the behavior that you had held on to for so long doesn't seem attractive anymore because your brain has figured out why you were choosing it. And it understands now that you can go a different path. You can go a different way. So that's what getting to the root of porn addiction is all about. And there are specific things that you can do to start to improve your overall self-awareness. There's specific things that you can do so that you can start to work your way towards getting good at identifying these roots. And in the next podcast episode, we're going to talk about some of those things because I don't want to just tell you my story. I don't want to just paint this picture for you. I want to equip you with tools that you can use so you can apply this stuff to your own life and start walking in freedom so you can break free from porn addiction. So thank you for tuning in today. We post videos on our YouTube channel and we also post videos on our Instagram. You can at me at PureFreedom.co. And of course, we have this podcast that's posted up on Spotify. You can listen to it on YouTube as well, and check out our blog at PureFreedom.co/blog. And on the blog, you'll find a bunch of different blog posts that are going to be there for your own encouragement. And if you know somebody that needs to hear this message, please share this podcast with them because we're really just trying to help as many people as we can. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, I don't believe anyone should have to live the addicted life. And we're here to provide information and technology to help you break free from porn addiction. Thanks and God bless. Thanks for listening in to today's episode of the Pure Freedom Podcast. I hope today helped you in some way. If you like today's content or know of someone who needs to hear this, please share this episode. If you want to hear stories about people who broke free from porn addiction after years of being addicted, check out our blog at purefreedom.co. See you next time.